You lived an entire life before the age of 3. Think about that for a moment. You were born. You opened your eyes for the first time. You heard your mother's voice. You felt warmth and comfort. You tasted food. You learned to crawl. You took your first steps. You spoke your first word. Thousands of things happened to you, and yet you remember none of it, not a single moment. It's one of the strangest facts about being human. Every one of us lived through those years, but for most people, they are completely inaccessible. It's as if the first chapter of our lives was erased from the book before we ever got a chance to read it. Most people assume the explanation is simple. You were too young. Your brain wasn't developed enough. Case closed. But that's not actually what modern science tells us. The truth is much stranger, because your baby brain wasn't failing to record your experiences. In many ways, it was recording everything. The memories were there, but something happened to them. Something so strange that it forces us to rethink what memory actually is and even what it means to become a person. Back in 1905, Sigmund Freud became one of the first people to seriously study this mystery. He called it infantile amnesia. The term refers to our inability to remember the earliest years of our lives. At the time, nobody really knew why it happened. And for decades, the mystery remained unsolved. Many scientists simply assumed that babies couldn't form memories. After all, if adults can't remember being babies, maybe babies never stored those experiences in the first place. It sounds reasonable, except it turns out to be wrong. In the 1980s, psychologist Carolyn Rovey Collier conducted a series of experiments that completely changed how scientists viewed infant memory. Her experiment was brilliantly simple. She placed babies in cribs and tied a ribbon from one of their ankles to a mobile hanging above them. The babies quickly discovered something interesting. When they kicked their legs, the mobile moved, and they loved it. They kicked over and over again, making the colorful shapes dance above their heads. Then the researchers removed the setup. Days later, the babies returned, and something remarkable happened. Many of them immediately began kicking their legs as soon as they saw the mobile. They remembered. Even babies as young as 2 months old could retain memories for several days. Older infants could remember for weeks. The conclusion was unavoidable. Babies can learn. Babies can store information. Babies can retrieve memories. So the problem isn't that infants are incapable of forming memories. The real question is this: if those memories existed, where did they go? Why are they gone now? To answer that question, we need to look inside the brain. Deep within your brain sits a structure called the hippocampus. It's small, curved, and easy to overlook, but it plays a crucial role in memory. Think of the hippocampus as a librarian. Every experience you have passes through it. A birthday party, a conversation, a rainy afternoon, a funny joke. The hippocampus helps organize these experiences and store them so they can later be recalled. In adults, this system works remarkably well. The hippocampus communicates with regions of the cortex and helps transform experiences into long-term memories. But in infants, things are different. The memory system is still under construction. The connections between the hippocampus and other brain regions are incomplete. Important structures involved in memory processing haven't fully matured. As a result, babies can create memories. They often struggle to preserve them for the long term. For years, scientists believed this explained everything. Case solved. The memory machinery wasn't fully developed yet, but then researchers uncovered evidence suggesting something even more surprising. The problem wasn't simply that infant brains were incomplete. The problem was that they were changing too fast.
The answer may lie in something called neurogenesis. During the first years of your life, your brain produces an enormous number of new neurons, or brain cells. This process is essential. Without it, your brain couldn't build the complex networks needed for learning, thinking, solving problems, and adapting to the world around you. But this incredible growth comes with a hidden cost. Imagine writing your life story in a notebook. Now imagine that every day, someone keeps adding new pages between the old ones, moving chapters around, and rewriting parts of the book. Eventually, finding the original pages becomes almost impossible. Researchers Sheena Jocelyn and Paul Franklin believed something similar happens inside a baby's brain. As new neurons are added to the hippocampus, the memory circuits are constantly changing. Older memories can become unstable or much harder to retrieve. To test this idea, scientists performed experiments on mice. When they increased neurogenesis in adult mice, the animals became more forgetful. Memories they had already formed became harder to retrieve. But when they reduced neurogenesis in young mice, those mice remembered things much longer than normal. The results suggested something remarkable. Your baby brain wasn't too weak to remember. It was simply too busy growing. The very process that built the brain you have today may also have erased many of your earliest memories. Every new neuron helped create a stronger, smarter brain, but at the same time, it also reshaped the memory circuits that already existed. Some early memories may have become inaccessible, not because they never formed, but because the brain kept rebuilding itself. This means your earliest experiences weren't meaningless. They still shaped the way your brain developed. They taught you how to recognize faces, how to respond to your parents, how to understand emotions, how to explore the world. Even if you can't consciously remember those moments, they helped shape the person you eventually became. So why can't you remember being a baby? The answer isn't that your brain failed. Your memory system was still developing. Your hippocampus wasn't fully connected. And your rapidly growing brain kept rewriting its own memory circuits as new neurons were added. All of these factors worked together. Every person on Earth has gone through this. We all have a missing chapter at the beginning of our lives. Not because nothing happened, but because our brains were focused on something even more important than remembering. They were building the foundation for everything that came after. The memories may be gone, but the person they created is still here. And that's the strange truth about your forgotten childhood.